Hello, love. So, in Etsy's customer research, shoppers have shared that product photos are critical to their purchase decision. In fact, 90% of shoppers say it's the most important factor in deciding to buy. It's even more important than the shipping cost, customer reviews, or even the price of the item itself. Why is this? Well, first, product photos are how you grab the customer's attention in a sea of sameness and actually get them to click on your listing. Second, if you're lucky enough to grab their attention, then you have to replace the in person buying experience by being able to communicate all of the features and benefits of your product through your visuals by building trust and making them feel confident in their decision to buy from your shop. Whether you sell on Etsy, another platform, or your own website, taking high quality product photos is critical for the growth of your shop. So, what do I mean by high quality? What this means is your images are better than your competition. So, you're setting yourself apart from your competition. Your images actually communicate the most important information about your product. You have images that show the features like product size, color, material, multiple angles, all the important details. And you show your product styled with relevant backgrounds and props, inspiring a very specific mood. You show your products in use, allowing your customer to visualize themselves using your product. And then, technically speaking, it means you have enough light. Your light is even with minimal shadows. Your product is sharp and in focus. Your colors look true to real life. Your image is well composed, and your studio shots are actually a pure white. Overall, it means that your images look professional, they connect with your customer and communicate all of the important information the customer needs so that they can feel confident in buying from your shop. A bad photo will get you overlooked in search, and a lack of photos could prevent you from making a sale, no matter how amazing your product actually is. Have you ever heard of the phrase, a picture is worth 1,000 words? Well, in your case, a picture is worth 1,000 words, clicks, sales, and dollars. The quality of your images will directly reflect the quality of your sales. If you hang out with me long enough, you'll hear me talk a lot about principles and methods. So it's something I'm very passionate about because I find that most coaches only teach the method that worked for them. Just because one method works for one person and their business doesn't mean it's the best option for another. If you don't understand the principle behind the method, which most coaches typically don't teach you, when a specific method doesn't work for you, you're left feeling like a failure, like you did something wrong. Let me assure you now that is not the case. More than likely, the method you are trying to use isn't the best method for you, your business, or your product. Nothing in business is one size fits all. A lot of coaches will teach one method and leave you feeling defeated when it doesn't work. Because of this, I have a high focus on teaching principles and not just one method. I want you to actually understand what you're trying to accomplish and why. I want to expose you to multiple methods and help you determine which option is best for you and your need. The most common methods for achieving high quality image status are: first, piecemealing it together on your own with free resources; hiring a professional photographer; third, collaborating with a professional; or fourth, investing in a coach and getting the shortcut. So, depending on you, your product, your business, your budget, or your schedule, one of these methods or a combination of one or more of these methods may benefit you more than another. There is no one right way to achieve a high quality product photo. Each of these methods comes with pros and cons, and you just have to get clear on where your value lies. So let's jump in and talk about method one of getting to that HQ image status. So method one is piecemealing it together on your own with free resources. So there is an epic amount of free information floating around the internet about photography. If you search Pinterest, YouTube, or even Google, you can find an answer to pretty much any question you have. But like with anything, there are pros and cons to this method. The biggest pro when it comes to this method, and I will gladly argue the only one, is that it's free. So, as a new business or a business that hasn't gained enough momentum to make a steady stream of income, there's a big chance you don't have a lot of extra money laying around. I mean, making extra money probably has a little bit to do with why you started your business in the first place. In some form or another, you can pretty much find everything you need to know for free online, but this comes with some pretty hefty cons. So, first, I want to remind you that anyone can put information on the internet. Anyone can create a YouTube channel, a blog, or a podcast. Just because you find it doesn't mean the information is accurate. Second, let's talk about photography and how complex it is. It has many layers, and there are many genres or types of photography, from newborn, portrait, family, landscape, food, product, etc. Each of these types with a different goal and yielding a different result. This leads to the third con. How do you know which information is relevant to you and your business? While a commercial product photographer may need a ton of pixels, they can create high resolution images for print, meaning images that'll be in magazines or posted on billboards. As a handmade seller, your product photography needs are different because at this stage in your business, you only need images for your online shop, which means you'll be reducing the number of pixels and optimizing your images for the web. This is two completely different processes. So while a commercial product photographer will need a high-end DSLR camera, the smartphone you have in your pocket will easily achieve the results you need as a handmade seller. So relevancy is one of the biggest problems I see when it comes to free information. It isn't always relevant to the need of a maker, and most sellers sometimes don't even realize that their need is different. So the information isn't necessarily wrong, it just isn't relevant, causing complete overwhelm for a beginner. Achieving HQ image status can be pretty simple when you understand exactly what you should be doing. But as a new maker, when you go out searching for how to take professional looking photos, this equals a lot of free content. And most of it is irrelevant and overwhelming. Maybe you search how to take product photos. This equals a little less free content, but still most of it's specific to commercial product photography. So again, irrelevant to a maker. Let's say you search how to take photos for Etsy. This has even less free content. And from what I found, there isn't a ton of useful information out there. Product photography coaches for makers have started to pop up over the past few years, but I see two things. One, they're a professional photographer, not a maker. So they don't fully understand the need of the seller because they've never owned their own handmade business. And while they try to simplify the process and bring it to a beginner level, they really still just miss the mark. Or maybe they're a handmade seller who has been able to get some decent results through trial and error, but they have no real professional photography skills or experience and can only teach their method. Remember, one size does not fit all. This right here is a big part of why I teach makers. I have 20 years of photography experience and I had a top selling Etsy shop. I know what you struggle with and what you need. So moving on to con number 4, there is going to be a lot of trial and error when you're trying to piecemeal all of the free information together. And while you're relying on that free content and the help of other sellers, which, let's get real, it's basically like the blind leading the blind, you're going to make a lot of mistakes and create a lot of frustration, overwhelm, and self-doubt for yourself. All of this leading to the 5th and 6th con, which is wasted time and wasted money. I hear a lot of stories from makers about the pile of failed equipment they have stacked in their closet or shoved under their bed from trial and error. It may only be a few dollars here and there, but over time it adds up. Let's jump into method 2 of getting to that high quality image status for your shop. And that would be hiring a professional product photographer. So hiring a professional product photographer means there's one less thing you need to learn and one less role you need to fill inside your handmade business. As a maker, you're most likely running your shop alone, which means that you are responsible for every aspect of your business. And this can be extremely time consuming, frustrating, and overwhelming as a creative. So, the benefit to hiring a professional photographer is that it's done for you. You don't have to learn and fill yet another position inside of your business, and it gives you more time to put back into something you value, whether that's your business, time for yourself, or time with your family and friends. And it eliminates the frustration and overwhelms that potentially come with trying to learn to take your own product photos. So, the pros to hiring a product photographer are one less thing to learn, one less role to fill inside your business. It's done for you, it saves you time, less frustration and overwhelm, right? But this isn't always the right method for makers because it comes with some pretty hefty cons as well. The biggest con is price. So the average price for one product photo ranges from $10 to $25. And this can be less and this can be more. This pricing depends on a few things. So the number of photos needed, price goes down when you need more photos. So when the volume goes up, the price goes down. The types of photos needed. So styled and lifestyle images cost more than, say, your product photos on white. Whether they're editing, whether they're doing background removal, etc., these can be additional costs as well. So let's talk about two potential scenarios here. Scenario one, you're an Etsy seller that lists a new product here and there. Or in scenario two, you're an Etsy seller who does quarterly collection launches, meaning you released 10 or more products about every 3 months. As an Etsy seller, you know you can upload 10 images to each listing. And if you've been hanging out with me long enough, you've heard me say that if you aren't filling all 10 spots, then you're losing the opportunity to build trust and make the shopper feel more confident about purchasing from your shop, which means you're losing the opportunity for sales. So with scenario one, you're going to be looking at purchasing 10 images per product each time you make a new product. So to have a professional photographer take images of one of your products, you could potentially spend anywhere from 100 to 250 on average. How many products are you releasing each year? Because this will eventually add up. With scenario two, you have a minimum of 10 products with 10 images per product, resulting in 100 images that you will need for your launch and that you'll be purchasing. So to have a professional product photographer take images of your entire collection, you could potentially spend anywhere between $1,000 and $2,500 on average. If you're releasing a new collection quarterly, every for 3 months, that's $4,000 to $10,000 a year spent on product photos. Woo! The second con is a loss of control. You have to ship your products to the photographer. What if they get lost? What if they get damaged? What if they don't get the images to you when they say they will and you have to delay your launch? Maybe you're thinking, well, they would be breaking contract if that was the case. Okay, yes. But are you willing to take legal action if they do? And there's a potential of losing creative control here. So what if you don't like the images? What if the props or models used don't resonate with your audience? What if the image style doesn't fit your brand? Did you know that most photographers don't allow you to make changes to their images, meaning you can't crop or edit their work? So every change you need, that's an additional cost. Are you willing to pay them to resize your images for each platform you use? Lastly, I want to talk about the risk of the person actually not being a professional. DSLR cameras have become very affordable, and a lot of people believe that because they own a DSLR camera, they can take professional photos. A camera is just a tool, and it actually plays a very small role in how your images turn out. So true photography professionals can create stunning images with the crappiest camera available. Don't let their portfolio fool you. This is probably just a collection of their lucky shots. I personally recommend being mindful of freelancers on Fiverr and Upwork. So, cons when it comes to hiring a product photography professional. Price is a huge con. The product could get lost. The product could get damaged. You may not receive the images in time for your launch. You may not like the images. The images may not resonate with your audience. The images may not match your brand style. And you can't make changes to the images received, resulting in more money spent. And are they really a professional? There are a lot of things to think about with each method. And I want to remind you that there is no one right method, only the method that's right for you, your business, and your products. So moving on to method three. Method three of getting high quality images for your handmade shop is collaborating with a professional photographer. So collaborating with a professional photographer is going to be somewhat similar to hiring a professional photographer when it comes to the pros and cons, but there are some differences. So let's dive in. Collaborating doesn't necessarily have specific rules, but the average collaboration between a maker and a photographer is a swap. They keep your product in exchange for images. Typically, the value of a product sent determines the number of images received. So going back to the pricing model from the previous email, if your product is valued at, let's say, $10, you may only get one image. If it's valued at 50, you may get 5 images. Again, there is no set rules here, and the agreement is made between you and the photographer. So the benefit to collaborating is similar to that of hiring a professional photographer, in that it's one less thing to learn. It's one less role to fill inside your business. It's done for you. It saves you time, and it's less frustration and overwhelm. But like hiring a professional product photographer, it comes with similar cons as well. So before we dive deeper into the similar cons, I want to address what would cause one professional to charge and then one professional to do collaborations. So immediately you may be thinking that if they're any good at what they do, then they would know their value and they would charge for their services, right? This is a good way of thinking, and it's something to definitely be mindful of, but it isn't always the case. So just like I mentioned before, some people think having a DSLR camera makes them a professional. You have to really be mindful of this. There are a lot of people out there that just want free products, but a lot of times you'll see professionals willing to do collabs if, say, they're transitioning from one genre of photography into product photography. Maybe they're a portrait or newborn photographer and they want to add more props to their collection. The biggest thing to be mindful of when it comes to other genres of photography is that the need is different, and sometimes the professional doesn't understand this, and this only because they're used to their own process and their workflow. So for example, a portrait photographer's subject is a person, not the jewelry or clothing that they wear. So if you send a necklace to a portrait photographer, they may very well send you back images showing the model in full as the main focus, and your necklace is then pictured very small. The best product photos with models only have a portion of the model in the image. If the professional is transitioning, they may also do collabs to help build their portfolio. So this may be a method that I personally use in the future. I've done portrait, newborn, children, and family photography over the past 20 years, but that really has no relevancy when it comes to my skills as a product photographer. So this could be a method I use to build out my product photography portfolio. You may also find a photographer that is amazing, but doesn't believe their skill is that of a professional yet. So their own insecurities prevent them from charging, and they do collabs instead. So there are many reasons a professional may want to do collaborations, but just keep some of these in mind. Moving on to similar cons. Even though you are sending your products in exchange for images, you are still paying for the materials and your time to create that product. So it's still costing you. Don't disregard that. Value your work and yourself. I have seen collabs go south because the photographer never sent the images, or they kept delaying the delivery of the images. I've seen some pretty horrible images come from collabs because the photographer thought they were a professional or felt like they took great product photos and actually believed that they took great product photos, and they just weren't up to par. Sometimes the images won't work for your audience or for your brand. So just keep these cons in mind when considering this method. And that's the method of collaborating with professionals. Professionals willing to collab may not, in fact, be professionals. The images may not properly showcase your product. You are still spending money on materials and time. You may not receive the images in time or if ever. You may not like the images. The images may not resonate with your audience, and the images may not match your brand or your style. Okay. Let's jump into the last and final method of getting to that HQ image status for your online shop, and that is investing in a coach and getting the shortcut. So if you really want the opportunity to experience quick growth, investing in yourself and the growth of your business should be at the top of your mind. By investing in someone who already has the knowledge and the experience you need to move forward in your business, you are supporting the belief that you are meant for success. You understand that by investing in the shortcut, you are going to get results so much faster than if you tried to do it alone. And this holds a high value for you. When I decided I was going to sell my creations, I invested in a coach before I even opened my handmade shop. A few months later, I invested in my second coach. By my second year in business, I had purchased at least 10 online courses and I had worked with 4 different coaches. I had the drive to learn, implement, and create fast growth. And I was responsible for this growth. I did the work, but I never would have become a top Etsy seller in my second year of business had I not invested in myself by investing in multiple coaches to learn the shortcut. Over the past few years, there have been multiple product photography coaches specific to makers pop up. And while I can't share the pros and cons of specifically working with them, I can tell you the pros and cons of investing in yourself and investing in me as your product photography coach. So I pride myself in doing business differently. Fast forward to now, and I can't even tell you how many courses I've purchased and coaches I have worked with. And some of my experiences have been really bad and a huge waste of money, and some have been absolutely amazing. Looking back, the ones that really got me results were the ones where the coach actually had eyes on my business. What does that mean? Well, have you ever purchased a course and never had any interaction with the actual coach? Maybe the course was great, but you were left wondering if you understood and implemented the course content right. Or maybe you purchased a course that promised support through a community and you were left feeling like the only support you got was from other students and no one really knew the right answers for your specific business. What if you could purchase a course where you could ask the coach any question and they would personally respond? Not only would they respond, but they would take the time to get to know you and your business so that they could actually provide an answer that was best for you and your brand. Have you ever had a coach personally help you get the results you need? This is what it means to have eyes on your business. This is what it means to have support. And this is what it means to work with me. By investing in my courses and working with me, you will never be left wondering if you are implementing the course content correctly. You will never be left feeling like you don't have support, and you will feel seen, heard, and valued. If you put the work in and ask the questions, I will be there to support you and help you get the results you need. So let's talk about the pros of investing in yourself and investing in me as your product photography coach. You get the shortcut from a top Etsy seller with 20 plus years of photography experience. You save so much time by only learning exactly what you need to know. You also save money in the long run because you aren't wasting money on equipment you don't need, and you aren't paying a photographer every time you need an image. You will learn a skill for life, and you will be able to keep complete creative control over your images. And the best part, I'm pretty awesome, so you may just make a new friend. Now, the cons of investing in yourself and working with me as your product photography coach is you do have to do the work. You have to show up, you have to ask the questions. It won't be completely frustration free. And I don't sugarcoat things. So I work with a lot of students, so I'm quick to get to the point and I tell you exactly what to do to get the results you need. So there's a lot of things to think about, again, with each method. I want to remind you that there is no one right method to getting high quality product photos, only the method that is right for you, your business, and your products. Please take the time to like this video if you found it useful And hit that subscribe button if you want to learn more about creating visual content for your handmade business. And if you aren't already a member, make sure you join my free Facebook group, Product Photography for Makers, at productphotographyhelp.com. And if you want to learn 3 simple and powerful ways to attract more customers and make more sales for your handmade shop, check out my free course, Attract More, Sell More, at attractmoresellmore.com. And if you're ready to jump right in and learn how to take your own product photos, then check out my Product Photography Essentials workshop. This is a 14-day workshop, and it teaches you how to attract more paying customers with better product photos in 14 days or less. And you can check that out at productphotographyessentials.com/workshop. And I will put a link in the description below this video. You are unique, and so are your handmade products. Handmade is you.